Work Examining Board will now come to order. For the record, can everyone state their name, please?
Todd Johnston, public member.
Paul Farnsworth, contractor member.
Peter Kaluzian, contractor member.
Thomas O'Reilly, contractor member.
Okay. Richard Herbert. Okay, we're gonna review, and I apologize, I just got to this in a moment's time. We're gonna review the draft, the minutes, previous minutes. So if anyone wants to put a motion out when they're ready.
This is Todd Johnston. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. This is from the December 10th, 2020 meeting.
Yes. And I'm looking here, does it, oh, I'm sorry, there's a motion, is there a second, and then we have questions?
I can make a second, Peter Kaluzian.
I don't see, doesn't it usually say who absent? I mean, absent. Am I off?
Was Mike Griffin? There was only one, John.
Oh, I attended the meeting. I didn't think I could make that meeting. Okay. Okay, motion, there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well, they're all in favor.
Yes.
Okay, so the minutes of the previous meeting are approved, unanimous vote. DCP complaint list. We have two of them, correct? Unlicensed. And it's closed. Issuance of voluntary compliance. And another one for issuance of voluntary compliance. Display contractors line. Any questions on that? Okay, okay. Next order of business is old business. I think me and Paul were supposed to, we have a date set for next week to get in on some of this stuff. And just to let you know, that letter that, me and Paul are gonna try, I think, Paul, don't we have a date next week for that? Paul Farnsworth?
Can you hear us, Paul? You should be able to hear us.
We do have a date for that. Yes.
And that letter regarding that safety concern, the jurisdiction is the Bureau of Elevators, and they did get that immediately. Just to let everyone know. So. Okay, new business. Application report that was sent in yesterday, I think.
Right, I sent it out yesterday.
So this is a list of people who have been approved. And I do have a question. Say Connecticut DOL. Now remember, guys, had a verbal agreement that we would see you guys, I don't want to go hash out the story again. A verbal agreement that anyone who didn't complete a Connecticut apprenticeship program because of the dangers of our trade would come in from the board. That did happen for a few years. They stopped. I don't want to really get involved with that too much and whine. But what does Connecticut DOL mean? And then it goes to some that just says DCP.
Connecticut DOL means that they went through the Connecticut Department of Labor apprenticeship, and we have a letter from the Connecticut Department of Labor.
Yes.
And the other two, the two that are labeled DCP, I don't know if Richard wants to speak on that. Are you there, Richard?
Yeah, the two that say DCP are the DCP staff approved them based upon equivalent experience and training.
So DCP approved two of these with equivalency and they did not go through Connecticut DOL apprenticeship program.
Correct.
Why do they not go to the board?
Because that goes back to that North Carolina dental thing. The commissioner said that goes back to when we had Jonathan Harris. He set up application review working groups in-house to review applications.
But so Sean, all those applications, are you there, Sean?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, remember the agreement that me and Paul worked hard on for the board and we handed it out at the meetings, you guys have it. We were doing that for a while. And then that just ceased, but our board, and it was a verbal agreement, a written verbal agreement that you guys, I handed out, was for the purpose of those two applicants. And a couple months back, if you don't remember, we requested that two of us out of three would go and review applications that don't have that gold seal, and we rejected from doing that. I believe it's in the minutes from a few meetings ago. So it's not right. I think it's dangerous, but that's the explanation, the whole explanation, and the board is well aware of it. I will try to reach out again and try to rectify it, Sean, but we only could do what we can do, right? Yes.
Well, it is a bit strange in that, I had said this a while ago, is if the Department of Consumer Protection is going to review the applications, and we are on the licensing board, what is our purpose at this point?
Can't argue with that statement.
Mr. Chairman, Peter Kay here. Can I ask, just like to ask Richard for a little clarification. Richard, what is the definition of equivalent?
If they have education or training, I believe one of the individuals had a New Jersey license, and their requirement is you have to go through the NEEP apprenticeship program or the CET apprenticeship program, and also have 8,000 hours or 4 years or more of hands-on experience. I think that one individual had started working in 2008 and had proof of experience back then to present.
So
Thank you.
probably on the job experience that the board was, working under, on the job experience and all aspects of the trade and has a skill. That's where the board, I think, is needed, definitely needed. But, okay, I'm still working on that, guys. That's trying to straighten this out to protect the safety of the public. Obviously you can have someone working, even though they went through the same education program, but not Connecticut, but only have done one thing, or our license covers multiple things where that person never worked on any of that equipment. and has no experience. So now they get a Connecticut license, and by law, they can work on that equipment, and they're gonna work on it.
Hmm.
But I'm working on that also. So. Okay. There's a statement from the commissioner. That they are looking for our opinion on it. And apparently, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, occupational licensing boards, renewal form statement, suggestion to Commissioner of Consumer Protection.
Right, what happens is every year, a renewal form goes out either by online or by email, or it goes out in paper form. And there's always a big spot on renewal form where it's blank. So a few years back, I started having license services division put something in that blank spot. I believe last time it was something like, journeyman can't perform the function of a contractor, and apprentices must be supervised, etc. So this year I thought, and this is going before the 5 licensing boards in chapter 393, that this statement about that you shall be either licensed or registered, and that's a felony, etc., should be the blurb that goes in on that blank space. Otherwise, the renewal forms go out with a blank space. And I said, that's a waste of space. If we're notifying all licensees, let's give them something to think about every time. So this is my suggestion for all 5 boards too. They all have the same common law. This section is quoted there about you shall be either licensed or registered, and what the penalties are.
And it's just basically quoting the law too, right? So it's just quoting the law.
Yeah, it's cut and paste out of the law. I just was thinking of something else to put in. I thought, well, we should do this to remind everybody that no person shall engage in. And yeah, it's going to licensees, but maybe there's some journey persons that will show up to a kid on the job site or an individual on the job site that's not otherwise licensed or registered and say, here, see, you could be arrested. You are supposed to be licensed and registered. So maybe it'll disseminate the information, by job site talks,
Yeah. So you want to call for, we should probably have a vote on this. If the board, you want a minute to review it? Are you okay with it? Todd?
You're talking about the attachment that we have for the, that this says chapter 393 for consideration.
Right.
Yeah.
That paragraph in the middle. And I'm sorry, Richard, I may have misheard you. At one word I thought you might have said was felony.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get to it. So it says Class B misdemeanor, it says. But the quote starts at any person who willfully engages in or practices the work or occupation for which a license is required without having first obtained apprenticeship registration or license for such work. And at the end ends up with shall be guilty of a Class B misdemeanor, section 20-341, penalties for violations of the Connecticut General Statutes. So that's the blurb I want put in a blank space rather than leaving it blank.
That sounds great to me, Richard. And thanks for reviewing it. It's just because I had heard you say the word felony and I didn't see that.
That's my fault because I do felony reviews and I always say felony. But
No, not a problem.
Yeah.
So then, that sounds great to me.
Okay, if there's a motion to accept the occupational board.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the, I guess it's the
suggestion.
the suggestion or blurb. And the best way to pronounce that paragraph. Be put in all renewal forms for licensure in 2021.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second, this is Paul.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so it's unanimous. Oh, Richard, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Uh, I've got this question before. If someone gets a renewal form at home, and it's whether it's they moved and they didn't get it for some reason, they go online to renew it because that's an option, but they don't have that PIN number anymore because they don't have the documentation. Like, how do they go?
Yeah, they have to email License Services Division to get a new PIN number. Or they'd be better off to just write out a check and mail it in.
So, license service,
Division,
what was division? And that's on the DCP website?
yes. License Services Division does all the renewals.
All right, so they would just like, is there an email address on there where they just click?
I'll send it to everybody now. Hang on. I'll send it to the group here.
You can work on your computer while you're on the Zoom meeting at the same
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, you can too.
Okay. Okay, or they can just send a check, right into DCP 450 Columbus Boulevard?
Right. Yep.
I think that there's been so many problems with the mail. I know in my office, there's been major
And it
that-
includes the same address I'm sending you includes changing addresses, etc. So I'll send this to you.
Great, great. Okay, there was something the board was concerned about third-party inspectors for safety for the citizens of the state of Connecticut. I know that they had a hearing this year and, I'm involved with a lot of these things. And it is not going to be for the elevator inspectors because of the safety concerns. They came out in the hearing and said that. So I know that we asked to send correspondence to the department and they didn't think they could do that. But that's also on public record. I believe the commissioner of DAS spoke because there were so many safety concerns over it. And it does not affect elevator inspectors in the state of Connecticut. That is correct, right, Paul?
Correct.
Okay. Oops, got some noise there. All right, so that's about it, right? And the agenda, am I missing something?
Actually, pardon me, John. You had mentioned you're gonna work on a letter with Paul. Is it the same letter that we have the comment in the agenda that Dale's gonna assist with also?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
I'm not I wasn't frantic over it because the Bureau of Elevators, that's their regs. And they did receive that with us. But we just have to meet Paul. We never been late on anything. And this, I know the pandemic happened and all that. I think next week we have a date and I'm gonna, what was the other board member's name?
Dale Clayton.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today.
Yeah, and he's an
So-
attorney, so he's really
Right.
great with that, right?
Yeah, so I think it would be great if you could contact him.
I'll do better. I'll send him it and say, and draft it.
All right, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
And then you mentioned one thing, and I'm trying to remember what meeting it was, because there was a meeting that you were unable to attend that Paul ran. And I know it because Paul is terrific for the what is it? There's certain rules that you go by when running a meeting.
Robert's rules.
Robert
Rules of
Rules, yeah.
Order.
So Paul is terrific at that. And Paul, do you recall the last meeting that you did? It wasn't the 12th, was it? And unfortunately, the minutes may have been recorded incorrectly.
What I can do is check my meeting notes, which I don't have in front of me, and we can make any correction as needed at the next meeting. So I don't have that in front of me.
That sounds great. I just want to make sure that things are correct.
Yeah, Todd,
You know, because John, you had mentioned, geez, I wasn't sure I made that. And I'm like, yeah, and I remember Paul with his Robert's Rules and you did a great job, by the way, Paul. I'm not commenting that it was bad in any way. I just recall that so much.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
yeah, and I, usually I believe in the minutes it reflects present and absent. Yeah, I think the same thing, Todd. I thought I had missed a meeting and Paul chaired it.
Mhm.
We can look into that.
Yeah,
I
Mr.
can
Chairman,
take
it
a
was
look,
actually
too.
September 24th where Dale Clayton, myself, and you, Mr. Chairman, we missed that. I think we missed that meeting because we abstained from voting. So
Okay.
September 24th.
Well, maybe you can look into your notes, Paul, because I don't know. I still seem to think I missed last meeting. But it could be off.
I'll take a look too,
Okay.
see if that was
I'll
something
check
I
that.
could have done wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I see that in the comments that you abstained from voting. So it could be what he just mentioned. It could have been the September 24th meeting. But anyways, I'm sorry to muddy things up. I just want to make sure we have things correct.
You've always been very helpful. Thank you for participating. It's great. Okay, that's about it. If anyone wants anything to say or.
John, this is Paul. I have one comment.
Okay,
Reference was made earlier to the North Carolina Supreme Court decision,
yes,
and my recollection of that, I haven't looked at it in quite a while, but my recollection is that the Supreme Court ruled that the agency will have active supervision over boards which consist of players such as contractors and mechanics that are active in the field that they're governing as far as regulations. So active supervision does not mean exclusion of the board. And that's my only comment for today.
and I'll also, what he's talking about is Public Act, I forget, maybe 16 it was, is that ruling said that you can have active supervision or the board, the commissioner or authority can reverse a decision. And they have the right to reverse a decision that's in statute because of that North Carolina ruling. But he's absolutely correct. That did not mean to exclude the boards in any way. All across the United States, Massachusetts, and those boards do the same thing they did prior to 2016. But if there's a major problem somewhere, their authority, whatever that is in the other state, can reverse it to protect the boards. So you're 100% right. Okay. Also, a couple weeks ago, New York Post, 25-year-old crushed to death. Just to let you know, if you want to look that up, that's happening all the time, many states, and that's the risk. I don't know the details of that accident. I believe it was a worker. I don't know if it was a study. I apologize, but a written study showed that 91 people in a period, I think it was a 3-year period, I'm not sure, of general public died in 23 states. And Connecticut was not one of them. Then there was, on a same study quoted 31 deaths and 17,000 accidents per year having to do with elevators. Now 91, and I think it was 3 or 4 years, I'm not sure, that was actual general public people. They call it non-working people, meaning they weren't the workers. So it's a serious business. And, that's all. Okay, we good?
Yep, I
We're
move
good.
to adjourn, if that's what you're looking for.
Thank you.
Or I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Second?
Give you a
We really
second.
don't need.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you. It's
Thank you.
nice seeing you
Awesome.
again, Karen.
Bye, everyone. Nice
great
to
day.
talk.